Hello and welcome to Premiere Scene. I'm Nicola Johnston and this is the London Film Festival. Tonight we're here to talk to Michael Winterbottom about his new feature film, Every Day. Your film deals with some very strong subject matters like love, survival and separation, and in a way it's almost documenting the passing of time. Can I ask you, as a filmmaker, did you learn anything new by this process? Because I know that you filmed periodically for 5 years.
Well, I enjoyed it. I mean, I enjoyed the process of working where you could film a little bit and look at it and then decide what you wanted to do next. So in a way, that was the starting point. Was like, if you always on a film have a very conventional approach, you always do it in 7 or 8 weeks in a continuous block. You have to film everything and it's very stressful. So it was enjoyable to work this way. I think also probably when you do time passing in films normally, in fictional films, you often you cast another actor, you cast a child at 4 and then a child at 8, a child at 12, or you use wigs and makeup and that. And you always make them look very different. And the strange thing in making this was, every time we went back, they looked exactly the same. So we were like, oh my God, they're not changing. But in the end, of course, by the end of the film, they're totally different to how they are at the beginning. But in a way, the children, it's like your own children. You don't notice them changing, and then suddenly they're grown up. And it was like this in this film, that time, the passage of time is a very kind of continuous thing. And whereas in fiction films, you normally have to just make these abrupt junctions between different bits of time.
Talking about the children, I mean, they're real siblings in real life, the 4 of them. How did you go about casting them for the film?
Well, I'd already chosen Shirley Henderson and Johnston to be the mum and dad. I worked with them before, and they're great. And so I was looking for, I was looking originally for one boy, but knowing that obviously they might have brothers and sisters, but we were really looking for a young boy to be the main character. And I met Shaun, Kirk, who's one of the kids. And I thought he was great. And so then I met the other 3 children, and they were fantastic. So it was really only when I met all 4 of them that we decided they should be 4 children in the family.
One last question.
It just gave Shirley more work because she had to look after 4 of them rather than one.
Just one final question, Michael. With regards to the script, I know you worked alongside Lawrence. Did the script evolve through the 5 years? Did you change it? Did you allow the actors to have the freedom to improvise? Absolutely.
I mean, the film. There is a story in the film, and it is fictional, but it is also improvised, and the actors obviously bring a lot to it. And so, from the very beginning, it was going to be 1 kid. Then when we met the family, it was 4 children. Then we saw their house, so we used their real house in the film. Then we saw their school, and the school was great, so we used their school in the film. And Shirley developed a real relationship with the children, so that became part of the story. And maybe at the beginning, I thought that you'd feel more stress in the family, or more. It'd be a darker film maybe about the impact of the dad being away. But actually, it became in a way quite a warm film, an optimistic film, because it was about 4 children who were looking after each other and about a mum doing her best to bring them up.
Congratulations to all of you. This is your first film. And I believe, Shaun, were you cast first?
Yes.
And then did you introduce Michael to your brothers and sisters?
Well, yes. He found out that I had another brother and 2 more sisters.
So it was a match made in heaven for him, really. And I hear also that you filmed in your own house. Did that make things a bit easier for you all, or did it feel strange?
It felt quite fun, just filming in our own house.
What was it like when he asked you to repeat things over and over and over again? What was that like?
It was quite boring and frustrating, and you had to just keep making it up. You just lost it sometimes.
I've got one last question for you all. Have you seen the film yet?
Yeah.
And what did you think?
I thought it was amazing.
And would you like to go on and become actors?
Yeah. Yes.
You're already actors, aren't you? I know that it was shot over 5 years, off and on.
Yes.
And you've worked with Michael before many times.
Yes.
What was it about the character of Karen in this particular story that interested you?
Well, it kind of wasn't sold to me like that to begin with. It was sold as just 5 years, a love story over 5 years, and you're a couple who are separated. That's all I knew. I didn't even have a name for the character at the start. I didn't know she was going to be Karen. I didn't know when we started. So we had to find all that. We had to sort of have our thoughts and try and contribute things to it. So it evolved as the character and what happened in the story evolved as we filmed. It wasn't all finite and written down and this is what it is and this is the character I want you to be. It was let's find something. So the love story was the key, the separation, the fact that I know John, I like his work, and I know Michael, so I kind of know the sort of things that would appeal to them and just finding the delicacy. So
did you have time to rehearse at all, or was it just in the moment?
You don't rehearse with Michael, you just film. You just get on and film. You don't ever rehearse. What you do is he will his form of rehearse probably is research. So we met in Norfolk with the children, and before we filmed, and hung about with them for a while, and went shopping and eating ice cream, all the things that you would do with children, just for them to be physically and comfortable with us, that we're not frightened of us because we're strangers to them. And that's kind of the research. Beyond that, and that's the rehearsal. There's nothing else. You just get in there and you just start and see what happens.
It must have been quite extraordinary to watch these children in a way grow up in front of your eyes, or were you not aware of it?
I wasn't aware of it at certain times. The wee tiny girl, I suddenly saw a change in her because she was 3 and a dummy tit and she couldn't speak. Obviously, I'm going to see a change in her when I go back. But it took a while to see the changes in the boys, and then all of a sudden, I just thought, oh my God, they're nearly as tall as me. Stephanie's nearly as tall as me. When did that happen? And it's lovely, and
one last question for you, Shirley. I know you're cold. Good for you. It's the Scottish blood in you. Have you seen the film so far?
I've seen it. Yeah, I've seen it in the festival.
What was your first reaction when you saw it?
I loved it. I mean, obviously, the first time you see it, you're remembering what's not there, because we filmed so much, and you're seeing what Michael has picked, what has he chosen, how has he brought this together. What was it we did? I didn't know what it was really. I didn't know what it was going to look like, or what we were trying to put across. Was it going to come across? So the
Do you still think it's a love story?
I do. Yeah. I think it's probably more of a love story than I could have imagined, because going into the prisons is grim. Going into prisons and going through those gates, and then the next gates and the next gates, and it's very hard for us to see how Michael's capturing it. What's he capturing? Is it just a look in her eye, or is he filming everything? And so we don't know until we see the whole thing brought together.